We're on the road with Mickey, we're gonna have some fun. Regardless of the rain or sun, our trip has just begun. So buckle up, let's go, we're about to start the show. And maybe if you like us, you'll see where else we'll go. Hi everybody, I'm Sophie, he's Mike, and she's Brenda, and welcome to On the Road with Mickey. If you're returning for another adventure with us, welcome back. We are so glad you have returned safely. And if this is your first episode with us and you're new here, welcome. It's so nice to meet you, and I'm going to show you the reins today. First up, we have our Cheddar from the Big Cheese, which is basically our Disney news snippets. And then after that, we have our feature topic, which is what we talk about for most of the episode. And then after that, we have our This Day in Disney History, brought to you by me. And after that is our game of Who's Who, and that is brought to you by Mike, my dad. Oh, fair warning, I'm almost never wrong when it comes to this game. I almost always win it. And then after that, Brenda will be giving us a quote from the big man himself, Walt Disney, and it's just going to be amazing. So buckle up, keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the car at all times. Make sure you're safe, fasten your seatbelts, all that good stuff. And we will see you on the road. It's time to get going. Let's go!
Hey everyone, I'm Mike, and she's Sophie.
And she's Brenda.
Hi, everyone.
And that's Grogu. And we're on the road with Mickey. This is season 2, episode 32 for August 9th, 2021. And our feature topic this week is our top 5 Disney park shows, past and present, and maybe even future. But as always, before we get going on our feature topic, we have a boatload,
That's true.
pun intended, of cheddar from the big cheese, and we're going to start it off with Brenda, who has a little news about a boat.
Which is exactly why it was a pun.
There you go. Well, the boat is the Disney Wish, which is the gorgeous, brand new Disney ship that they're currently building. And some really neat aspects were discussed the other day on the Disney Parks blog. And here are some of the neat details that you'll be able to experience on the Wish. The Wish will have Disney Cruise Line's first ever outdoor spa retreat, complete with whirlpool spas, plush loungers, and plenty of space for open air yoga sessions. Untangled Salon and Hooks Barbery, our first standalone salon and barbershop experiences, each inspired by a classic Walt Disney Animation Studios film. Yay!
Yay.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And 3 new upscale bars and lounges, the Keg and Compass, Nightingales, and the Bayou. I am really excited about these because, you know, Disney has increased their offerings for adult only spaces with the ships. Is that, there wasn't much on the Magic or the Wonder, then there was, to me, there was a lot more on the Fantasy and the Dream, but the Disney Wish looks like it's really, really going to have some really great adult only areas, and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Really excited.
So what I'm hearing is this is one of the potential options for a 21st birthday gift to Daddy.
I'm hearing it's not an option at all.
Oh.
Somebody's not hearing right. Somebody's got their wires crossed.
Oh, moving on. Sophie, what's next on our cheddar?
Well, here, to cheer myself up, we're going to talk about something that gives me a lot of joy and happiness. Yes. And returning for a second year this November, Give Kids the World will have their second annual Night of a Million Lights Spectacular. We did this last year, and it was absolutely stunning. We have a videos of it and a bunch of other things, and it was just so beautiful. There were like 3 million lights or something.
Mhm.
And the
Insane.
what?
It was insane, the number of lights.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like Osborne Family Spectacle because they got a lot
Yeah.
from there, and that
Mhm.
Osborne was gorgeous.
It was. And the event will run from November 12th to January 2nd, from November 12th, 2021 to January 2nd, 2022. And it will run from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. nightly with staggered entry times.
Yeah. And we had done this. We did this in October, was it? November? November. We
November,
did this
yeah.
after Thanksgiving before we came back home, before Mommy and I came back home.
Yeah.
And we did this with Sophie, and it was just phenomenal.
It was
It
wonderful.
was just it was just incredible, you know.
Yeah.
So, and we talked
Yay.
about it on the podcast last year.
Mhm.
So go check it out. And at the end of our YouTube, we had like a video montage, like Sophie said, of all the different scenes that you could see from last year's. So you can check that out and go see it, and it'll just warm your heart because
It will.
it's just really such
Yay.
a cool
It'll warm
fundraiser.
it'll warm your heart like hot chocolate on Christmas Eve.
Yum.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
speaking of previous podcast episodes, a few weeks back in our Red, White, and Disney podcast, we talked about the baby Maasai giraffe that was born in June. Well, he has now joined his family out on the savannah for the Kilimanjaro safaris, and we want you to say hello to Humphrey. And I'm going to get this image
I
so
got it.
that we. Oh, yay!
Oh,
Isn't he so cute?
yay. I wonder who's writing today that sees him.
I don't know.
Oh.
Yay.
And I have one other picture with all of them.
Oh,
So
please share.
there we go. And it looks to me like Humphrey's leading the way, doesn't it?
Oh,
It
yeah.
does. Wow.
He's so
So,
cute.
anyway,
Wow.
check
They're
us out
all
on
so
YouTube
beautiful.
and you'll see the pictures up there. So,
Yes,
Yeah.
and if you're a listener on the safari, send us your pictures too.
yeah, exactly. That's an
Yeah.
awesome idea. So, there we go.
Cute.
But yeah, that is cute, and it's
Super
really kind
cute.
of cool to see how that happens and to see the circle of life continue, and they do so much good
Yes,
stuff
Yeah.
over at Animal Kingdom.
for
So
sure.
Yeah.
Yay. He's so cute.
now I have some Disney Plus information. Normally this would be Sophie's bailiwick because she's my Disney Plus guru.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about this. Beginning on August 11th on Disney Plus, Goofy is starring in 3 new how-to shorts from the Walt Disney Animation Studios. The whole overviewing arch is called How to Stay at Home. That's the name of the series, and it takes a lighthearted look at the pandemic. How to
Oh.
wear a mask,
Oh.
learning to cook, and binge watching are
Oh,
the
well,
names of the 3 shorts.
Oh,
And
wow.
I thought that was kind of funny. And that is
perfect.
so goofy. And it was so perfectly timed from, last week when we talked about Goofy and we
Yeah.
talked about how in the 40s he had his how-to series. And
Yeah.
That's
it's like it
hilarious.
just came right back
Yay.
into this,
That's right. The way you
So,
influence is something else.
yeah. So I just thought that was kind of neat. And
Yay.
Yeah.
then also last week, Disneyland released details and pricing on their new annual pass holder program called the Disneyland Magic Key Program. And there's a lot of information here, but you can find most of what I'm going to say on the Disneyland website. Passes go on sale starting August 25th, and there's 4 different levels. There's the Dream Key, which has no blockout dates, free parking, and you can do up to 6 theme park reservations at a time. That price is $13.99 per person for a year. Then there's the Believe Key, which has some blockout days, up to 50% off parking, and up to 6 theme park reservations at a time. That one is $949. There's the Enchant Key, which is $649, and you can do up to 4 theme park reservations, and there's more blackout days and so forth. And then the last one is the Imagine Key, which is only available to Southern California residents living in zip codes 90000 to 93599. The price for that is $399, and it features having 2 theme park reservations at a time and has more blockout days. And they all have merchandise discounts and so forth. So like I said, the Disneyland website has all of those details, and I'm not even going to go there to say whether or not it is something that I think is worth the money or not, and I'm just going to leave it be. But out of that, and this is the last bit of cheddar, and I promise because we have a lot of cheddar today, the question came out, what does the Magic Key program mean for Walt Disney World? And the answer that I'm come up with is absolutely nothing. But Disney did tease this in their presentation last week. They said, and for those wondering about Walt Disney World annual passes, new pass sales will become available in time for the start of the 50th anniversary celebration. Walt Disney World Resort will be sharing additional information and details later this month. This month, of course, being August. So they are getting close. They're getting close to reselling the annual passes again. And we have no idea what pricing will look like for that. So when we know, we'll let you know.
Something affordable.
I do too. But it is kind of exciting, though.
It is.
That it might be coming back. So,
which makes me remember something you said a little while back, Mike. Considering that yesterday was Global Sleep Under the Stars night.
Yeah.
And several episodes back when we did our perfect Disney day, what did you say?
I said that sleeping under the stars in the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse would be so cool. And you know what? I could even say that sleeping over on Tom Sawyer Island, that might be even a cool one too. Could you imagine spending the night at the fort?
I think that would be super cool.
Oh, and sleep under the stars night. So there you go.
Yeah.
Both of those would be so cool.
Yep.
All right, you go do that, and I'll see you from across the river in my haunted mansion.
That's right. She'll be sleeping in her doom buggy.
No, she'll be the one trying to get the coffin up.
No, I'll probably be sleeping in the master bedroom, or maybe I'll just decide to pass out in the garden, in the greenhouse.
There you go.
Wherever you're comfortable. That's right.
Yeah.
All about options.
When it's our perfect day, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Options.
There you go. So anyway, thank you for mentioning that, Brenda, because I would have forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And lastly, don't forget to connect with us. We have all of our links in the show notes, and we love hearing from you. And most of our traffic we see come through our On the Road with Mickey group. So anyway, so it is time for our feature topic, our top 5 Disney park shows, past and present. And we're just going to go down our round table, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just going around the room, floating back and forth. And we are going to start with Miss Sophie today.
All right. Well then, since we get the option of choosing shows past and present and possibly future, I'm going to start with my option that was from the past, which is my number 5. And the only reason this isn't higher is because it's not there anymore, and so I'm sad. But that would be over at Disneyland, the Aladdin the musical. It was It was a live action play. They played it over in the California Adventure in Hollywoodland. And oh, I loved it so, so much. And then they switched it for Frozen, which the Frozen one isn't bad. I do enjoy it. It had very good actors and actresses and all that stuff, but I like Aladdin better.
Yeah.
And the genie was amazing. The genie was my favorite part. He got to ad-lib.
Yeah, the genie. I had forgotten about the Aladdin show.
Yeah.
And that is a good one. I haven't seen the Frozen one, but the Aladdin one was really well done. So
good choice, Sophie.
Very good choice, Sophie.
And I'm going to share one of the examples of it, the genie ad-libbing. Actually, there were many times that I remember, but this one has to be my favorite. And it was back, the year of the Super Bowl when it came out that the Patriots were cheating or something, the New England Patriots. Yeah, that year or the year after it, the genie just went to Aladdin, and it was like after Jasmine had rejected him or something, and it's like, "Are you okay? You look kind of deflated, like a Patriots football." It was so funny. And then there was the one with
doesn't even follow sports. And
that's hilarious.
No. And then there was the one with the Ebola outbreak in Africa, and just this guy in a hazmat suit came walking across the stage, and the genie was like, "Wrong musical, man."
Oh, and I'm sorry. I need to interrupt a moment.
Yeah?
Because I forgot to mention Brenda, Sophie, and Cindy and I saw the Jungle Cruise in the theater.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it was
I'm going to go see that.
Good.
I haven't seen it yet.
Me too.
It was
you
so
absolutely
good.
need to.
We're going to see it.
It was epic.
It was so
awesome.
Good. It was
We're
so
going to see it.
Good.
And they even had corny Jungle Cruise jokes.
Awesome.
It was awesome. I was laughing, and everybody was like, "Shut up, man!"
That's cold.
No, they weren't. They weren't like that, but it was funny. Oh,
Yeah.
they were awesome.
That's great. Well, thank you. I do need to see that. Everybody out there needs to see it.
We enjoyed it. We really enjoyed it. So.
All right. So are we taking turns with this?
Yep. So we're moving on to Miss Brenda, number 5 on your list.
My number 5 is currently Mike's background today.
Number 5 is Carousel of Progress?
Yep. Number 5 is Carousel. It's hard to narrow these down. It's easy to make the list, but it's real hard to give them numbers.
Give them a number. Yeah.
I feel like a traitor. Like, how can that be your number 5 when you go to that every single trip? Because there's something about the other 4 that
are higher.
Just a little higher. I'm sorry, but I love the Carousel of Progress, so
Yeah.
it's my number 5 because it's, it's awesome. I mean,
it is awesome.
Yeah.
Love the Carousel of Progress. That's all I can say about that.
Uh-huh.
That's all you got?
It's a classic. Not much needs to be said.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, number 5 for me can be found at Epcot.
Oh.
And it is the American Adventure.
Nice.
And it is number 5 because I love how Benjamin Franklin and Mark Twain talk about how America has evolved and developed and the things that we did as a nation to improve stuff moving forward, and it was just so cool, it's like going into a history lesson,
Yeah.
So to me, that is just really cool about it's inspiring, and it helps if you watch it and if you think about it afterwards, and if everyone were just to give it some thought, they might come up with, hey, we did this before. We can do this again, and we can make this nation better.
Yeah.
So
That's a good choice.
So that's my
Good
number
job.
5. Thank you.
All
Hey,
right.
Sophie, number 4.
So my turn again. And this one just also comes from Epcot, and it's just because of how much I love the pavilion and the traditionalist culture of the country. And it's actually reflections of China in the Chinese pavilion. And I just love it so much. It's more to do with the pavilion itself as well as the show, but I just love the architecture of everything around it. It feels so beautiful and so historical too, and you all know that I'm a history buff.
Yeah.
So really, I suppose this shouldn't be on my list then, but I don't go to the China Pavilion to watch Reflection of China. I watch Reflections of China so that I can go to the China Pavilion. So it's
Well,
kind
Either
of the
way
other way
works out, though,
around.
yeah.
Sophie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to me, Reflections of China is like, like Brenda's one man's dream. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the icing at the end of the exhibit. When you've walked through and seen all the
Mm-hmm.
things, then you get your movie at the end. And the same thing with China. It's like you've got, before the show starts, you got all this time to explore and see all these really fascinating pieces from
Yeah.
China, and it's
Yeah.
almost like the two combined together to give the whole experience.
It
Yep.
So,
also it also has a lot of the plans and models from Disney Shanghai and Hong Kong Disney. So
yeah,
that's another thing because I love all the parks around the world
yeah,
Yeah.
and I want to go to all of them in my lifetime.
yeah.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to step aside just for a moment, but I'm still here. I'll be right back.
All right.
Hey.
So then should I keep talking or is
Keep
it your
talking.
turn? All right then.
It's Brenda's turn next.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So you
So
go ahead.
Miss Brenda, your turn.
Okay.
Try
Well,
to draw this out until Daddy gets back.
to elaborate on Mike's semi segue, my number 4 is the movie At the End of One Man's Dream. It's funny that he mentioned that because we hadn't talked about these ahead of time, and it's funny that he brought it up. But he knows me so well, and that show is, of course, at the end of walking through all of the historical stuff on Walt, and then the movie, of course, has Walt and all about his life. So it's extremely touching
Powerful.
and yes, powerful for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people might miss it. Sometimes you go through the one man's dream and then you have to wait for it.
Mhm.
And kids might be crying and they're bored because they've been in
You're
a
like,
museum type setting.
so
But
you're like,
don't leave, just wait because
yeah.
it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. And it's inspiring to kids to see that you can come from nothing and do all of this. It's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's like it could have been my number 1 easily, of course, but it was my number 4 of course, for various other reasons. So, number 4, One Man's Dream film. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good one. Good choice.
Thank you.
My
All right.
number 4 is an entirely different segment.
Oh,
It is nothing at all serious about this show.
oh, cool.
Takes place in the Magic Kingdom in Adventureland. Is it no Frontierland? And it is the Country Bear Jamboree.
Yeah.
About as goofy a show as you're gonna find. It is absolutely. I love it. I love it more now as a 50 plus dad than I think I
Yeah.
did in my 30s. I just love it. It is so funny. You know,
Mom, I don't
and
whoop little beaver. Sorry. Sorry.
but what's funny about it to me is and this is one positive that came out of COVID land. which is not one of the lands in Walt Disney World, just in
No.
case
Absolutely
people were
not.
confused. But one of the positives was that, for me anyway, that I saw was now to add some excitement into the show and whatnot. Now you can walk by Country Bears, and there'll be times when you see some of the characters on top of the roof.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
And
true.
I don't think I ever saw that before we were there last
Nope.
year. And
I didn't
so
know.
so I think that's a really cool, fun thing, you know?
Yeah. That
So
they should keep doing that afterwards because the
I
kids that
think
are
so
playing
too.
with them will want to go in, and
Oh yeah.
otherwise they might
Yeah.
miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love Country Bear Jamboree.
Yay,
And
great
I
choice.
love that Miss Sheila, Sophie's Aunt Sheila, how Sheila says that Liver Lips is her boyfriend.
She
There
does
we
say that.
So
go.
Liver
shout
Lips
out to
is.
Sheila and Liver Lips.
Yeah. We won't tell Uncle Randy, don't worry.
Well, no. So anyway, Country Bear Jamboree, number 4 on my list.
Great. Great.
All right.
Sophie Jean,
My turn. Yep.
your turn.
And this one is the one that Daddy and I were referring to when we say future.
There we go.
And as it stands, this one is actually in the parks, but
Okay.
the reason that I say future is because there is a special change coming to it. And I'm talking about Mickey's PhilharMagic.
Oh,
Hmm.
Yes,
gotcha.
I love Mickey's PhilharMagic. It
Yep.
is great. I especially like the fact that they have it in 4D, not 3D. And what
Yes.
4D means is they also have stuff splashing out at you. They have scents filling the room so that you can
Yeah.
smell what the characters are smelling. They have fans blowing on you so that you can feel the windswept feelings for some of the scenes. And the reason that I say future is because we talked about this, I believe, in an earlier episode. They are going to be adding a new segment into Mickey's PhilharMagic, and it's going to be Coco.
Yep.
And Donald is going to be gallivanting about in the land of the dead trying to find his hat. And
Mhm.
I'm so excited for it. Coco is one of my favorite Disney Pixar movies, and the fact that it's coming for the 50th anniversary, no less, that just has me so hyped. I'm
Yeah.
so excited to see it. And actually, I have found online that there are previews of it. You can see the segment if you Google it online. I have not seen it yet because I haven't had the time, but I do plan on giving a reaction to it next week.
Okay. And I'm
Great.
kind of was holding out, waiting to see it in the actual show.
Yeah, me too.
I know, but
And
I
and it-
want to see
and
it now.
for those of you at that frequent Disneyland, that is part of Mickey's PhilharMagic at California Adventure now. So it is out there now, but it's
It's
not
also
at the
in
Magic Kingdom just yet.
it's also in Disneyland Paris, I believe, too.
I think you're right, or
I think you're
coming
right
if
too.
it's not there yet. It's coming if it's not there yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, good choice, Sophie.
Yay, good
Thank
job.
you.
So Brenda,
Oh,
number
well,
3.
my number 3 is a past
Ooh.
show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was found at Epcot. It is Illuminations Reflections of Earth.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
I loved
Oh, I did
Illuminations.
too. For the
Yeah.
music as much as
Just,
anything.
I know, and I, several years back, they changed Illuminations. They made a big change to Illuminations, but the one that I really loved was the one before that,
Mm-hmm.
before that change, like the old Illuminations. I really, really loved it. And I miss it, but it's my number 3 because it's like a forever part of, well, if it's forever part of our photo albums, and I have this huge bin of photo albums before, Photo Pass and all that stuff came out. I have these ridiculous amount of photo albums of our family through the years that I have to take when we're fleeing a storm. It weighs like 50 pounds. But when you look back through those and look at those memories when my kids were little and stuff, I mean, Illuminations wasn't every one. It was just a big part of our trip. It was, you went and you got your spot, and we usually got some kind of treat.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal. So that's my number 3.
Yeah. That's a good number 3, Brenda.
That is
Thank
a
you.
great one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is number 3,
I
Mike?
miss Illuminations too, but I am looking forward to Harmonious.
Yes.
I want to see what they do with
I
it. And
definitely want to see
I am
Harmonious.
like, whoa. And we'll be at Epcot on October 3rd, and we will be seeing
Yay!
Harmonious.
And it's like World of Color on
It
like
is?
ridiculous steroids, right?
Yeah. That's my thought on it. So
Yes.
can't wait. I'll be
Oh,
live. When
Sophie's
we're
gonna
there
love
for
it.
the 50th, we are
Oh
going to
my
be live
gosh.
streaming like crazy.
Yes, Sophie
Like
is gonna
crazy.
love Harmonious. I can guarantee it.
Oh my gosh. Don't ruin my number 1 for me.
Okay.
Well, my number 3, Sophie,
Yeah.
is also Mickey's PhilharMagic.
There you go. Yay.
Although I didn't think of it for the future with the Coco scene. So good play on that, Sophie. Because
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that aspect of it. What I love about Mickey's PhilharMagic is the music and the way they integrate. I mean, the Imagineers did such a job of taking the music and the movies and weaving it all together into like this long story that just it's not like, okay, we went here and now we're here and now we're here. It's like it flows, like it was like that whole thing was created exactly for that.
Yes.
And it is so cool how they did that.
It is
It
so
is
cool.
And I
amazing.
love those songs. They are like top dog songs for me.
They are. They
So,
really
Totally.
are.
so
I
Mickey's
remember.
PhilharMagic is like incredible for me.
That's great.
I
What were you gonna
actually
say, Joyce?
remember at one point, um, I think I don't even remember what year it was or how old I was, but I know I was young, and this was during the time when I really wanted to be an Imagineer at Disney.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I still kind of do, but now I want to work on other things for Disney. Um, but at this point in time, I was thinking, I really liked the Beauty and the Beast show, but what if it goes away one day? What would replace it? And it got into my head, I'm going to make another show. It's going to be like Mickey's PhilharMagic, but it's going to be live action, and it's going to be Figment from A Journey into Imagination instead of Donald.
Oh wow.
And it took him through all these different songs. They were all in a Disney playlist that we had playing in the car. There was the Haunted Mansion, and there were all these different things, and they all tied back to this one Disney medley that we had that played at the end. It had the Lion King, it had the Little Mermaid, it had Pocahontas, it had all these things in it, and I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread, but it never came into fruition because it was unoriginal, and Disney would never listen to a kid if they gave them something like that. But it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's still
All
cool,
right.
Sophie.
Thank you.
So.
All right. Anyway, so
Number
wait,
2.
yeah, it's my turn. Whoops.
Yep.
Well, speaking of the Lion King, this is my number 2. The Festival of the Lion King. Anybody who watches the show knows how much I love the Festival of the Lion King. It is my absolute favorite thing about Animal Kingdom sometimes. especially when it's hot and I'm looking for a place to go that has air conditioning and where I can sit down and stay a while. So that usually turns out to be the Festival of the Lion King. And of course, I love the music too. Personally, if you asked me, The Lion King had to be one of the best Disney movies that had ever been produced.
Yeah, it's up there, that's for sure.
Yeah, it really is. And it's the songs for me. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. I love the Lion King's music, and the fact that it's all in the Festival of the Lion King, plus other nods and appreciations for African culture, it's amazing.
Yeah. It
And
is.
of course,
Great
the bright
choice.
colors. I love bright colors, as you can see by my background and all that stuff. So it's just, whew, it's amazing. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Very
Okay.
good choice.
It is a good choice.
Yep. Definitely a favorite for Sophie for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
my
just so
number two
surprised.
is a.
I'm
Oh,
just
I'm sorry. Go
surprised
ahead.
it's not number 1 on her
Yeah,
list.
I was thinking the same thing when she first said
Well,
it. I'm thinking whatever's number one has got a trumpet.
Yeah.
So it must be pretty special.
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
So number
So
2 for Miss Brenda.
my number two, I've talked about this several times on several episodes. I know it's not going to be a surprise. It is for the first time in forever the Frozen sing along show.
Oh.
I love that show. I think, when we first went to that, I thought, well, for one thing, when we first went to it, Frozen had come out and that's all the girls sang. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to go in there and it's going to be like a billion kids screaming at the top of their lungs with these Frozen songs, going to make me crazy. And I fell in love with it the first time I went in there. It is so well done. I mean, it is hilarious. It's not just hilarious. It's like they ad lib based on the audience. So they'll stop
Wow.
the show. I mean, when we were there the time before last in the show, they stopped the show because there was a dad in the audience that when he started singing the songs, they stopped the show and he sang by himself. It was so he was like an opera star. I mean, they
Wow.
literally said like, you know, before we get back into Arendelle history, we have just got to say something for the dads here today. And they said, who am I hearing? And he raised his hand and they said, stand up. And they stood him up and he sang Elsa's song. And it was awesome.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
they do things like that to ad lib based on the audience. And then that doesn't even count the fact that, snow comes down and things come out of the seal. I mean, it's just a great
Wow.
show.
Yeah.
It is a
Okay.
great show. I
You're
love
warming me up to it.
We gotta see
Just
it,
a
Sophie.
little.
We'll
you
see
gotta
it.
see it.
I
We've
know.
got to see it once. We haven't seen it. Shame on us for not ever having
Shame
seen it.
on
Yeah.
you. You have to see it because you'll love it.
All
It's so
right. All
funny.
right.
I mean, it's really funny.
Okay.
All
We
right.
promise, Brenda.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
promise.
We promise.
That's the number two.
Well, I don't know. I didn't plan my list in time with Sophie's list, but my number 2
Ooh.
is also Festival of Lion King.
Oh, yay.
And um like Brenda said, I think earlier that it's really hard to put a number to some of the things that we like. Um, but and it is for me too. So it's really splitting hairs, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's 1 and 1B and 1C.
Yes.
Um, but Lion King is number 2, and it's the music, it's the acrobatics, and
Yeah.
we haven't seen the celebration side of it, the new version of it,
No, we
but
haven't.
we're looking forward to seeing it, and so I'm excited when that comes out. But number 2 for me is Festival of the Lion King.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All
That is
right.
awesome.
Well,
Y'all are
that
on the
just
same
leaves
wavelength.
my That just leaves my number one. I will be very surprised if Daddy shares this one with me.
Oh. Well, let's give you a drum roll. Here we go. Ready? What's your number one?
All right. My number one is World of Color.
Yay! Yay!
Good number one choice, Sophie.
A feeling next year is going to be her number one will be Harmonious.
Oh.
Ooh.
You know?
Be careful, them's fighting words.
Them's fighting words.
Well, tell us what you love about World of Color. All of it.
Well, yes, but aside from that, you said that my number one had to trump Festival of the Lion King. And the thing that I last said about Festival of the Lion King was that I loved the bright colors.
Yes.
Well, World of Color is nothing but bright colors.
That's true.
Sure. Yeah.
That's true.
And I especially like it because, one, it's a nod to the show World of Color, which ironically was black and white.
On the screen.
Yeah. But I also like it because it's really hard to explain, but one, it involves water. Two, it involved Paradise Pier back when it was still Paradise Pier. And honestly, my favorite part of Disneyland wasn't even in Disneyland. It was in California Adventure, and it was Paradise Pier. It felt the most detached from the world.
Yeah.
Because it felt like you were just walking along a boardwalk, you were at a carnival, and you could just imagine yourself doing this with other people, maybe bring a loved one with you, all that good stuff. And you could just enjoy yourself. And then as the night got dark and everything started gearing down, you could just watch from this place and see magic spring up out of the water. And it captivated me so much when I first saw it that I went back the next year and the next year, and it actually holds a very fond memory in my heart because it was the night of my 16th birthday. It was my sweet 16, and Aunt Sheila, Jagan, they had taken me to Disneyland to celebrate. We had a reservation dinner, and my birthday is 10:47 p.m. June 19th. And so in California time, that's 7:47 p.m. So I turned 16 while I was sitting and eating dinner in that restaurant, and I can't quite remember the name of it.
Is it Carthay? Did you go to Carthay for the
Not
World of Color
Carthay.
show?
It was over in Adventureland. It was in Disneyland. I think it was.
Was it the plaza?
No, it was by Adventureland. I think it was May something. I don't remember, but that's not important. What was important was that right after that dinner, we immediately booked it over to California Adventure to use our fast passes to go see World of Color. And so the reason it's such a fond memory for me was because literally I had spent the whole day at Disneyland, but I didn't turn 16 officially until that night. And World of Color was the first thing that I saw when I turned 16.
Oh, nice.
It was the first thing I did. And it leaves a special place in my heart for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a great memory.
And that's great reason why it is higher on the list than Festival of the Lion.
For sure.
Yeah.
Good choice, Sophie. Right. Great one.
Thank you.
Very good. So we're down to my number one, huh?
Yep.
Number one.
My number
Number
one
one.
is, it's not past or future, it's present, but it's seasonal. And it is the candlelight processional.
Oh yeah. And see, we haven't done it.
The
See,
candlelight processional is definitely my number one. It is, if you have not seen it, it is magnificent. It is the story of Christmas presented with like choir members from all over, at least all over the United States, that
Wow.
come, and they're all on the stage in like a form of a tree, and they have famous narrators that Disney books to read the story of Christmas. And I have seen LeVar Burton, I've seen America Ferrera, I've seen Neil Patrick Harris, who, to me, Neil Patrick Harris is, I just love him. I
Yeah.
mean, he loves Disney like John Stamos loves Disney, like full Disney people. And I just love that. It just warms my heart. It puts me in the Christmas spirit like nothing else.
Uh-huh.
And it is just so well done. They have the orchestra, it's just beautiful. And you can get like you can do like a candlelight processional dining experience, which we always do, because even if you do the candlelight processional dining, you get a special pass, but you still have to wait in line for a long time to get in. But people will wait like 6 hours in Epcot in a line just for the chance to maybe get in after all the people with dining and all that go in. It's really something. So
Yeah.
I always do the dining experience so that I can make sure I have a spot, because it's beautiful, and it's one of my favorite holiday things to do. And being able to be there during the season and doing that is just really, really special. So
That's a
that's my number one.
great
it
choice,
sounds
Brenda.
amazing. You know what? That might just be my number 1.5 if I ever did it.
Ah,
Yeah.
it's
And
really, really something.
for the 60th anniversary, this ties the two together. For the 60th anniversary, we saw World of Color.
Mm-hmm.
And Neil Patrick Harris was the narrator. And he was talking with Mickey and introducing video with Walt talking and everything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And it was absolutely phenomenal.
it was.
So
just wonderful.
it was
Yep,
so cool.
he's something.
Um but as for me, my number one is, I don't want to say lame, but much less by comparison. Um because it's not seasonal, and it's something you can do, and we do very often, and it is my carousel of progress.
Yeah,
I, like I said, it's splitting hairs about what's number one, two, three, four, and five,
yes.
but really what it came down to for me, because I thought about having Festival of the Lion King number one, but what it came down to for me was the fact that during our July trip last year, we probably took in Carousel of Progress at least half a dozen times.
Yeah.
And not because it was hot as blazes. That obviously played a role a little bit. And there was no TTA and stuff like that. But it was there, and it's something that we always enjoy. And
Yeah.
so many of the listeners love Carousel of Progress, and I would live stream just
All
about
right,
every single
listeners.
time, you know? And everyone was like, "Oh, thanks for doing this again, Mike. Thanks for showing it again. We love it. We love it.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
is.
and
It is
so
wonderful. It's like welcome home. It's like they
yeah,
put your arms out and said, welcome home.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I have a trivia about not one man's dream, about Carousel of Progress. The section, the scene where he's got all the electric wires
Uh-huh.
hanging, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
he's got the fan going, and he talks. On the fan, it shows Niagara Falls,
Yeah.
and you notice how they never say the year, right? Oh, it's around the turn of the century. Oh, it's the mid-20s. It's this,
Yeah.
you know, but it never says the year. But I was able to snag a picture once, and I'm going to share it, that shows that in that scene, the year from, at least from the oops, I got to load it. The year from that was, let's see here. There it is. Was 1926. Let me show you.
1926.
Yep. You see the back side?
Oh, look at you. What does that say
1920.
above 1926? Oh, souvenir.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Niagara Falls
Nice.
souvenir. So I just thought that was kind of cool. That's
That
one of
is
those
pretty
things you
cool.
don't see very often, and they never say the years.
That's
But
very cool.
that
They
souvenir
always
was from
say, oh, around the turn
1926.
of the century. Oh, the
Or
fabulous 40s.
Yeah.
yeah. So that one at least I date as 1926.
Very
Yeah.
good. Yay.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for sharing
anyway,
that, Mike.
Carousel of Progress is my number one.
Well,
And
there
I
you go.
definitely think it's on par.
Yeah.
Because
Me
as
too.
much as I love the Festival of the Lion King, it's not going to be number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carousel of Progress is great.
All right.
Well, we actually have a couple of honorable mentions, don't
Oh,
we?
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have two honorable mentions, one from Brenda, one from me, and one dishonorable mention. Dum 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 from
Uh,
Sophie. So, what do you want to hear first, people? You want to hear from the honorable mentions or the dishonorable mention? Maybe we should leave the dishonorable mention to last because that one might have the most talk about it.
I don't know. I think we should
yeah.
end on a high note instead of a low
Okay.
note.
Maybe we'll put the dishonorable mention like in the middle then.
That's good.
Okay. All right. Well,
We'll
Brenda, you
just
go
sandwich
then.
it in between the good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Just
go.
a
Well,
tiny.
my honorable mention was actually Sophie's number 3,
Mickey's
Ah.
Philharmagic.
Mickey's Philharmagic. I
Well, don't
love
My
forget
number
it was also
two.
Daddy's number 3.
Daddy's number 3 too. Mike's number 3.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
wait a
because
minute.
it's really, really, I mean, it's just so well done. It's like
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much about Disney. Maybe it's just me because I'm simple-minded. I don't know, but there's so much about Disney where when you go into something for the first time, you're like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
how could they think of this? I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
It's just amazing
Uh-huh.
how they thought of that and just stuck them right in the scenes. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
awesome.
It is.
It's a classic.
It
For
is.
sure. My husband, Butch, loves Mickey's Philharmagic. We have to do it every trip. He loves it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's my honorable mention. So
Okay.
here comes Sophie's dishonorable mention.
Well, don't act like it's such a bad thing. After all, the opposite of love is not hate, but indifference.
That's true.
Oh, okay. So what's your dishonorable mention?
Yeah. What do you
My dishonorable mention, which I hate, not that I'm indifferent to,
So?
because after all, you got to talk about the things that you dislike sometimes. And this one I definitely dislike because this one really, really scared me as a kid. I thought it was going to be fun because, like, I just thought it was going to be fun. And so I insisted on sitting in the front row of this thing. And
Wasn't fun.
And Riley was right there with you.
yeah.
And
the
it
one that I'm
was.
talking about is It's Tough to Be a Bug. That show,
Yeah. Yeah.
You could not.
Yeah.
I'd rather go on Dinosaur than watch that show again. And that's saying something.
That is saying something.
I
will
have
tell
warned
you.
many of my clients I have warned about taking small children. It can be very scary for a small child.
Yeah.
What do you think of it, Brenda?
I think it's a little scary for a small child.
But I mean, do you like it? Not like it? Care less about it?
I like certain parts of it a lot. I think I think it makes the point. But yeah, I don't make a point of going to it when we try. I mean, we've seen it probably, I don't know, 50 times, and that's enough for me.
Oh, wow.
50.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
You have no fear. In fact, I fear you.
no, I'm not afraid of it, but I you know how you develop your favorites, and that's the ones you just tend to always go to your favorites, and there's just some you're like, well, been there, done that, and that's enough, and that's one of those for me.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I only
I'll tell
went
you
on
right
it
now,
once.
Brenda, we've only done it once.
And we are not doing it
And-
again.
I like the glasses. I have to say, we've taken some pictures, selfies with the glasses, and those are cute.
I don't even remember.
Nope.
All I remember
bug
is
eyes.
all I remember is two screaming kids and how they left the theater early. Because they were screaming bloody murder, and that was Sophie and Riley. Bless your hearts.
Well, everyone
so that's
out there,
all I
you need to
remember
try
from
it once so you can make your own decision. You know, because there are parts of it that are really cute. So make your own decision, but
yeah.
All right, cool, but I'm not subjecting any of the people that come to Disney with me to that horror.
Well, my honorable mention is another history one. And I tossed back and forth between American Adventure and Hall of Presidents.
Oh, yeah.
And I went with American Adventure number 5, and Hall of Presidents is my honorable mention. I like them both, but I also feel like Hall of Presidents has gotten a bad rap for being politicized.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
Which is
I
a
like
shame.
to see it, even I will see it even with the new version, because it opens like this month. It's a reopening with President Biden, and I'll see it even then, but it's not something that I gotta see every trip, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I appreciate it because to me it does a very good job of staying neutral. That's just my opinion.
Right, and it's not that Disney has politicized it; is that the people watching it tend to politicize it. So anyway, that's my take on it, and I'm no expert, so there you go. So that wraps up our feature topic, and I think it was a good one. So listeners, we want to know what is on your list. I've got a question out in the Facebook group. What are your favorite Disney shows? And my buddy John said The Handmaid's Tales. And I said, well, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So give me something else. So if everyone likes The Handmaid's Tale, well, good for you. I've never seen it. But anyway.
Talk about goofy binge watching.
Yeah. Exactly. So anyway, go to our Facebook group, leave us a comment. Next week I'll report back on what people said were some of their favorite Disney shows. And we'll go from there. But that wraps up our feature topic, and it is now time for This Day in Disney History, presented by the illustrious Sophie.
Illustrious. Ooh, I like that word.
I knew you would.
All right. Well, I have a bunch of Disney history, just like I had a bunch of opinions about shows, and just like we had a bunch of Disney cheddar.
Yep.
And two of them concern my favorite ride. I'll let you guys guess which ride that is. And I'm going to start with the earliest and move on to the most recent. Okay. 1969, August 9th. The Haunted Mansion attraction opens in New Orleans Square at Disneyland. Nice. The public opening of the attraction is heralded by a promotional blitz that includes the ice cream sundaes sold at Disneyland's Carnation Plaza, Madame Leota the medium in the seance room, and the tiny talking figure at the end of the ride is modeled after Imagineer Leota Toombs, also known as Leota Thomas. The attraction will have an official grand opening August 12th.
Nice.
Yeah, so they already know which ride I'm talking about.
Oh, put it in front of you, Brenda.
What?
Look at that, Brenda. Look at that, Sophie. That is so cool, Brenda.
Oh, wow.
It's a sipper.
It's a sipper?
Nice.
It's a sipper.
I want one. Where did you find that? I want one.
I got it at Walt Disney World. We went in October.
What?
She lights up. Check her out.
She does.
Oh, that is so cool, Brenda.
Daddy, please.
You know what,
please,
Brenda?
please.
I just think you won the internet today.
I'm going on eBay. I'm going on Amazon. I'm going to find one. So help me.
Oh, she changes color. There you go.
Oh, I love that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good job, Brenda.
Good history.
And good history on that one, Sophie.
Yeah, well, I'm not done yet.
I know you're not.
And so then, 35 years later, in
2004.
Yep.
Okay.
This one has 3 events that happened. One of them isn't so great, but at least it was fixed. The other one is to do with the Haunted Mansion, of course, and the third one is to do with Donald Duck, so it all pertains to me. 2004. It's a moist day for some Disney World guests when a water main on the 12th floor of the Contemporary Resort breaks.
Uh-oh.
The water cascades from the 12th floor down to the 5th floor around 7 p.m. Hundreds of guests are evacuated and given the option of staying somewhere else. But it was fixed. Yeah,
I remember that happening.
I had just turned 3 when that happened.
So you didn't remember it, and I didn't remember it because at that point in our lives, we weren't about Disney. We were about feeding and changing diapers.
And potty training too.
Potty training, yeah. We were about potty training.
Yeah, give it another year before we actually went to Disney again. Because I remember I was in Mommy's tummy the first time I went to Disney. Thank you very much.
You do remember that.
Anyway, on that same day, Disneyland's Haunted Mansion celebrates its 35th birthday with a special scavenger hunt. And I don't know exactly what that pertains. I can probably find out if I wanted to.
Pretty cool, though.
Who knows? Maybe all the spirits left the Haunted Mansion for its 35th birthday and went over to the Contemporary Resort at Walt Disney World to wreak some havoc.
Probably.
Maybe. Yeah.
And then, on Hollywood Boulevard, the same exact day, Donald Duck receives the 2,257th star on the legendary Hollywood Walk of Fame at 10:30 a.m. in front of the Disney Store / El Capitan Theater at 6840 Hollywood Boulevard.
Nice.
Nice.
Way to go. Congratulations, Donald.
Yay!
And that is all I have.
That's awesome.
That's a lot. Good job, Sophie. Good history day.
Thank you.
Okay. So,
Uh-oh.
time
It's
for
that
our
time
Disney
again.
Who's Who character.
Not
Stump the
The
Soph.
Soph.
You can try.
And I doubt I will. And I figure this is so easy. I'm
A
only
caveman
giving
could do it.
I'm only giving 2 clues. And yeah, so easy a caveman would know.
All right.
This character is a cruel and ruthless monarch.
The Evil Queen.
Okay.
Ta-da!
I should have said just cruel and ruthless and left off monarch, right?
Yeah. What
The
was the
next
second
clue was possesses strong magic.
Cruel and ruthless, possesses strong magic.
The answer is the evil queen. Although in the book, she's not the evil queen. She's just the queen. Okay.
That's fair.
And I love the ending here. You know, she tricks Snow White into eating the poison apple, but the witch is chased off a cliff by the dwarfs. Ironically, as a result of her magic, the queen dies not as the most beautiful woman in the land, but as the ugliest.
Actually, I don't think it was the dwarfs that chased her off that cliff.
It was the rock.
Yeah, what happened was she was trying to smash them all with a boulder,
Older.
and then right at the last second, a lightning bolt struck the ground beneath her feet, and she fell, and the boulder fell on top of
Right.
her.
Right. But the dwarfs were chasing her. So that's why.
Yeah.
But here's the cool part. So the American Film Institute is a very well-known organization, and they did a ranking
Yeah.
of the 100 years, 100 heroes and villains. They had 50 heroes, 50 villains.
Oh.
And the Queen made the list at number 10. The
Wow.
10th highest villain. And I thought that was like, whoa. That's so whoa. So anyway. And
that is amazing.
that's one did you know. The other did you know was the Queen never has any screen time with Snow White. The only screen time the two shared was when she was disguised as the witch.
Yep.
You're right.
So
Very
I just thought that
Wow.
was really cool. But you know, when Sophie was being born, when we were pregnant with Sophie, we were getting her room ready, and one of the things that Disney was doing was they were re-releasing on DVD Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in a special collection thing. And I was like, honey, we got to get it. And when
Yeah.
we bought it, it came with 4 lithographs, and those are still in Sophie's room.
Yeah.
And
They are.
and so we put them with frames and whatnot, and they're in her room to this day. The 4 different lithographs that came with it. It's really kind
They
of
are.
cool. And that was like the first Disney movie that we bought with her, and this is
Sweet.
before she was born. So anyway, yeah, the evil queen or the queen is this week's Stump the Soph. And like I said, I did not expect to stump Sophie at all when it comes to these queens and whatnot,
Nope.
princesses and
She
stuff.
is hard to stump.
Yeah. So that takes us to a little bit of Walt.
Walt, who we love so much.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and
This,
Brenda,
yes.
I just saw what you put for the quote.
Yep. And you know why too.
And that quote fits. You need to follow that quote.
I know.
Practice what you preach.
I know. I'm trying to listen to Walt. I'm trying to listen to myself too, and do what I need to do. But this quote from Walt says, "Why worry? If you've done the very best you can, worrying won't make it any better."
That's right.
That is so true, and you got to remember that.
Yeah.
That quote transcends Disney, and it invades life.
That's right, because worry is definitely not going to add to the days of your life. That's for sure.
No.
The bad thing. We don't want to do it.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, good, great quote. Great quote,
you.
Brenda.
All
Great.
right.
Thank you, Walt, for that quote.
Yeah.
Well, that, my friends, wraps us up for this week. And next week, we have a really cool, fun episode.
Courtesy of Miss Brenda.
Miss Brenda and her imagination.
Oh, yeah.
We love our top 5 list, so I'm making this a top 5 list already.
Definitely.
Okay. And the feature topic next week, people, will be our favorite kid rides in quotes, that we can't get enough of. That is going to be fun.
Talk about hard to number. Goodness gracious.
So what are those kiddie rides that an adult isn't supposed to like?
Yeah. I'm covering my mouth so that I don't give any spoilers.
And we're going to give our top 5 of those. So
I have a feeling we're going to have a runner-up or two.
We might, yeah. So anyway, I look forward to it also. And everyone, thank you for joining us this week. We hope you have a great week, and we will see you on the road.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Brenda. Bye, Sophie.
Bye-bye.